to Fox News contributor, former Republican Oversight Committee Chairman Trey Gowdy. Congressman, good to have you. What do you think of this back and forth that 2 weeks is not good enough?
Well, I'm in a really small minority, Neil. I don't think the report should be released at all. And I'm frankly surprised that so many Republicans think it should be. A lot of Republicans think the investigation was flawed from its inception. Remember that Strzok was biased, that Papadopoulos was set up, that the dossier was a political hit piece. So if the investigation was flawed from its inception, why is the report not also flawed? I don't think the report should be released because the Department of Justice speaks in indictments. They've already indicted a lot of people. That's the way the Department of Justice speaks. They don't write biographies. They don't write summaries and reports and have press conferences like what Jim Comey did that the Inspector General actually found violated policy. The Department of Justice speaks in indictments. And if you're not indicted, I don't know that the Department of Justice should be releasing a political hit piece that people like Schiff and Nadler are then going to use for 2020.
Well, regardless, it is going to come out. There might be portions redacted, sir, to your concerns, but it is coming out. I'm wondering if in having it released, there are other things that could be interpreted differently than Barr has. A lot of Democrats have said that he made condescending sort of bullet points. That's coming from Nancy Pelosi. Where did she get that?
I think they didn't like the result, Neil. So if you don't like the result, keep in mind, these are some of the same people that were introducing bills to protect Mueller. Remember all the Mueller protection bills? Little did we know he would need to be protected from Nancy Pelosi and Schiff and other people who just don't like what he found. What he found is, and this is the important sentence that Barr shared, despite multiple opportunities, the Trump campaign never colluded, coordinated, conspired with Russia. And what my former colleagues like Swalwell and Schiff never seem to bring up is the only campaign that took Russian dirt and actually paid for it was the Clinton campaign. Not the Trump one, the Clinton campaign.
You're talking about the Steele dossier, right? The original.
I'm talking about Fusion GPS and all of the money that Perkins Coie spent trying to get Russians to provide dirt on one of the presidential candidates.
All right, you raise a good point. I'm not a lawyer. I know you are, and a very good one. The one thing, Congressman, that surprised me in this is if there was anything false coming out of Bill Barr's interpretations of this and the points that he mentioned regarding the 400-page report, certainly Mueller or his team would have called him out on it, right?
Well, they've called folks out in the past. Remember when the media reports were wrong about Michael Cohen,
the Democrats got Mueller.
Yeah, I mean, they got him to do what nobody else in the world can do, which is get Mueller to talk. But Neil, I am a recovering attorney, but I will tell you this: the department, when Beto says he has evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt, when Schiff says beyond a reasonable doubt, that's not what it takes to charge someone. That's what it takes to convict. It takes probable cause.
Well, which is a lot of your old Republican colleagues, sir, and saying Schiff should resign. To a man and woman, they unanimously voted to do so. Obviously, he's not going to do so. But how does that committee even work going forward now?
It's hard, Neil. That's not the crazy caucus on the Republican side. Those are not bomb throwers. That's Elise Stefanik. That's Johnny Ratcliffe. That's Will Hurd. They ain't a crazy person on the Republican side on House Intel. So for them to collectively say, Chairman Schiff, we've lost confidence in your ability to lead, I think what may happen next is the intelligence community may say, you know what, Chairman Schiff, you prejudge investigations, you disregard facts, reports, evidence. We're not going to share any more information with you. In which case,
do you know if that's happening, sir?
I don't, but it would not. I mean, if you're the CIA, why are you going to risk your life providing information to someone who has a well-deserved reputation for leaking and who's going to disregard evidence because of his hatred for the president? At some point, these are executive branch entities. At some point, they're going to say, you know what, Adam, if us providing you with evidence is not going to change your deeply held wrong conviction, then we're going to quit providing you with information.
Trey Gowdy, good lawyer and all. Good luck in your recovery efforts on that front. Always good seeing you.
Thank you.
Attorney General William Barr releasing a 4-page summary of Robert Mueller's findings and setting the stage for the next political battle in Washington. A growing debate now playing out on when exactly lawmakers and the American public will see the full Mueller report. Joining me now is Trey Gowdy, former chairman of the House Oversight Committee and a Fox News contributor. So there has been this debate about how could somebody like Bill Barr actually read a 300-page document and summarize it in 48 hours. You tell me, you're a lawyer. That's possible, right?
It's more than possible. I mean, he's actually a smart lawyer. I'm not. I probably could read 300 pages in a weekend, but Bill Barr definitely can. And, you know, it's not like you're summarizing something that's really complicated. Do you have sufficient evidence upon which to charge people with conspiracy, collusion, coordination, whatever you want to call it? And then the other summary, which people oftentimes forget about, what did Russia do to this country in 2016? He summarized it. I'm quite certain he read it. He's a really, really smart guy, which is something that should give all of us confidence. 300 pages is not that much.
Do you, I understand some Democrats' point that if the shoe were on the other foot, right, would you, when you were back on the committee, would you have accepted a 4-page summary from Eric Holder, for example, without further information? And you would probably demand all of the report as well?
I would try, but I would also understand, as I did, when Eric Holder and James Cole, his DAG, wouldn't even answer questions. I mean, keep in mind, Dana, the Department of Justice speaks in indictments. They don't write biographies. They don't write reports on people. They don't do Oppo research. They issue indictments. So if I were to ask Eric Holder or DAG James Cole, why didn't you indict this person? They wouldn't answer the question.
They don't have to answer it. It's a great point. Also yesterday, the House Republicans on the Intelligence Committee banded together and they said that Adam Schiff, the chairman of the Intel Committee on the Democratic side, that he should resign. Here's a response from Congressman Ro Khanna. Listen to this.
Adam Schiff shouldn't resign. Look, we have a separation of powers. That's part of the Constitution. You have strong oversight. And the president who can stand up to Xi Jinping can take Congress's oversight or a robust press. So let's move on. Let's figure out things we can come together on. We know the Russians interfered. Put aside President Trump. I was talking to Kevin McCarthy. I said, how do we prevent further interference?
What do you make of the Republicans asking Adam Schiff to resign?
Well, Dana, this... You know, it's hard to get on the House Intelligence Committee, at least on the Republican side. Paul and Kevin don't pick members of the bomb-throwing caucus or the crazy caucus. I mean, you've got Elise Stefanik, who's a national security expert, Conaway, Mike Conaway, former chairman of ethics, Will Hurd, who was a CIA employee, Johnny Radcliffe, a U.S. attorney, terrorism expert. I mean, these are not members of the bomb-throwing caucus. And for them to say, Adam Schiff, we have lost confidence in your leadership, I'll tell you, I think what's going to happen next, Dana, is the intelligence community is going to say, you know what, Adam, you disregard the information that you're provided. You prejudge the outcome of investigations. You have the president not just indicted, but in jail. We're going to stop sharing information with you. If you are the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and you can't act in a reasonable way, we're going to stop sharing information with you, in which case Pelosi will have no choice but to replace Schiff. And look, the next in line is Jim Himes, who's every bit as progressive. He's just a lot more reasonable than Adam Schiff is.
Maybe responsible with information. I have one last quick question for you. There was this text message that was revealed from Page, of course, you remember Lisa Page, to McCabe on the 12th of December of 2016, saying, by the way, DNI James Clapper told Pete that he, Clapper, was meeting with the CIA director and his deputy for dinner tonight. Just FYI, basically, for your situational awareness. And McCabe says, okay. Thoughts on that? We've been waiting to find out what it was, this insurance policy that they were talking about.
Yeah, we actually looked into that, Dana. I think it's really important. That was December of 2016, right?
Yes. Yes.
Which is exactly when the intelligence community was drafting their assessment. Remember, they released an assessment of what happened in 2016, and Brennan insisted that the dossier material be included in the assessment. Therefore, when it's leaked, the public has information about the dossier in great detail. So we looked into that meeting. I don't think we found anything untoward with that dinner. But Brennan was an active participant in disseminating this dossier information in the fall of 2016. to put a cloud over the president before he ever became president.
Right. Trey Gowdy, it's a pleasure to have you as a Fox News contributor. We appreciate you coming on today. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.